Have you ever seen a kid who's out of control in the store? I mean, they're just throwing tantrum after tantrum, and they're kind of ruining everybody's time right there, the families and everyone who's around them. I've even seen homes where the children rule the house by their behavior, what they do, and all of these things happen around them, and they control the whole family. How they act is how the family acts. And that's one of those things that's sad, because what it does is it shows that that child oftentimes doesn't have boundaries in their life. And with no boundaries, kids don't develop to their full potential. And we as parents, we have to develop boundaries into our kids. And if we don't, it's not just going to hurt us in the way our kids behave in public, it's going to hurt them. You see, kids without boundaries are kids who oftentimes when they grow up, they have a lot of problems. So let's find out the keys to putting boundaries into our kids' lives today on the show. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell from ThrivingMan.com, where we help you conquer your everyday chaos and live a thriving life. Well, lately, we've been doing a series on boundaries, helping you really bring boundaries into your life, into your family. And today's the last day. And what we're talking about today is boundaries with our kids. What do we do with boundaries with our kids? Why do we do that? Now, before you listen to the show, make sure you check out all the other shows. You can like and subscribe to the podcast, because we want to help you be a better man and a better father. The truth is, today, we have to put boundaries on our kids' lives. That's one of our jobs as parents. As a dad, that's what I'm supposed to do. Help my kids develop those boundaries, because it helps them develop their lives. And there's some keys to it. The first key is you have to lead with security. What does that mean? That means you have to be secure in who you are. Secure in who you are as a man, secure in who you are in the way you're living. That's why you as a man have to develop convictions. You have to develop your faith. You have to know who you are. Too many men are out there living their insecurity out loud. And what's happening is it's affecting their children. When you're not secure, you're not going to help your kids with their boundaries, because you may not have boundaries in your life. So what you want to do first is begin to lead with security. Build up your own inner security in your life. And the reason many dads haven't done that today is they've kind of bought into some of the lies. There's a lot of lies out there that people hear and they think it's good advice, but it's really not. Like, one of the things they hear is, well, who are you to tell your child what's right or wrong? Well, who are you? You're their parent. That's your job. You help them learn what's right, what's wrong. What is this society all about? What should they believe? That's why you have to develop your faith foundation first. If you don't do that, you can't pass it on. And that's what's the problem, is a lot of men don't have a faith foundation for themselves, so they don't know what to pass on. They don't know why something's right or wrong. So what you got to do as a man, you got to figure that stuff out. You got to work through that. You got to dig and figure out, what do you believe? Why do you believe it? And as you do that, you become more secure in your faith, and you'll be able to pass that faith down to your kids. Another lie people say is things like, well, you have to just let your kids be who they are. Well, there's some truth to that. Every child is different. In fact, when Scripture says train up a child in the way they should go, what it's talking about is train up a child in the way they're bent. In other words, what's their natural tendency? So as a dad, you do learn your child. You do learn what they're like, but you're also the parent. You help them figure out what's the important things in life. You help them take who they are, the way they are, and then you shape them the right way so they can use their gifts to their best ability. You don't just leave them alone to figure it all out by themselves. They'll figure a lot of things out by themselves, but they need your input. They need your direction. They need your boundaries. That's why we put them around our kids, because it helps them figure out themselves. But you as the dad, you kind of know who your child is. What do they like? And you can help them develop that by putting the right boundaries on them. The other lie that a lot of times you hear is, well, that my child will tell me who they are. How? Why? Kids are dumb. They just are. You were dumb when you were a kid. I was dumb as a kid. Why? Because you don't know anything. You have a lot of life experience. Why rob your children of that life experience? Say, well, I'm not going to tell them anything. No, you should. Maybe you made some bad decisions. Help them to make the right decision. Maybe you make good decisions. Show them the benefit of those good decisions. Your experience is very important for your kids to hear. And that's why the more secure you become in who you are, why you do what you do, you can pass that down to your children. You can help them develop who they are. They don't have to be you. You don't want them to be you. You want them to be who they are. And as you help them develop those boundaries, they'll figure it out. But the start of it is you've got to become more secure as a man. The second thing we do is focus on development, not just survival. The truth is life is busy. Life is busy for everybody. And you can either accept that and say, well, life's busy. It's just the way it is. Or you can fight against that. And as dads, we have to fight against the busyness of life. We have to fight against the schedule that will take over our lives. You are the only one who can speak into your child. You're the only one who can really speak into them in a deep way. Other people can do it. Coaches can do it. Teachers can do it. And that's good. You should let them, but they shouldn't take your place. Don't let a coach take your place. Don't let a teacher take your place. You should be the one who focuses on development, not just busyness. I know a lot of parents today, they have their kids being real busy. They're doing sports things and doing all this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with those things. The problem is when those things kind of take over parenting. So you don't have time to parent. You don't have time to spend with your kids because you're so busy doing things. And what your child is learning is just busyness. And the reason that's not good for your child is you're not really helping them develop boundaries because a lot of times the child becomes the center of the family. Their sports schedule, their things that they do becomes what the family builds its life around. So that teaches the child that, and that's not a good thing. You want to help them develop those boundaries. You want to be the one to say, hey, we're going to do this, but we're not going to do that because that takes away from family time. That's an important lesson for your children to learn, and they're only going to learn it from you. So what you want to do is focus on development. Remember, busyness, just because your kid is busy doesn't mean they're good. It doesn't mean they're learning. It doesn't mean they're growing. They're just busy. A lot of times they're stressed out. They have anxiety. And a lot of it is because we haven't taught them how to implement boundaries in their life. So remember, your focus is not just your child's ability to play baseball or football. Your focus is to develop your child to be who they were designed to be. The third key is that you want to permeate your boundaries with grace. Now, what does that mean? Well, grace is unmerited favor. It's not just letting them do whatever. It means that child is your favorite. You should treat them as your favorite. Your child should be your favorite. All your children should be your favorite. All your children should consider themselves your favorite. And what that means is you're giving them grace. Now, what is grace? Well, sometimes that means you do maybe give them a little bit of favor they don't deserve. You forgive them. You let them go with this or do that. There does need to be that. But also grace means you speak honestly and openly to them. You let them know truth. That's grace too. When you tell them, hey, you're being a jerk, or hey, you cannot act that way to your mother. If you do it again, there's going to be consequences. That's grace too. Why? Because you're loving them and directing them the right way. Grace is two-sided, and you want to be two-sided with your children. Sometimes you need to be that tough person and says, hey, just suck it up. And then sometimes you need to be the person that says, hey, come here. Let me help you through this. Let me guide you through this. That's what grace is. Because sometimes you want to be the guy who tells them it's time to step up. You've got to do this or else. And that's good. You need to be that for your kids. But there's also times where you tell them, hey, come on, I'll help you, and stuff like that. Because here's the truth. Both sides are important for them. Both sides are what they need. Both sides are part of the boundary. Because sometimes for you as a dad, yeah, you can be a drill sergeant at times, but if you're always a drill sergeant, then they never hear the words, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, I love you. I believe in you. And those words can make a huge difference to your kids. You don't want to just say those words, because if all you say is, I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you, but you're never tough on them when they need it, when they need that kick in the pants, that's up to you too. So remember, grace is two-sided. It's open and honest. It's loving and caring. And that's what you want to be for your children. That's a good boundary. It's going to help them develop to be the best they can be. So guys, closing out the show today, remember, you're the one to bring boundaries into your child's life. It starts with you. You need to become secure in who you are. You need to know yourself, develop your faith foundation. You've got to work. And that's really what it's all about. Boundaries take work. They work in your life when you work them. They're going to work in your kids' life when you work them. But guess what, guys? It's worth it. It's worth the fight. Your kids are worth the fight. When your kids are 30, you're not going to regret being a good dad. But when your kids are 30, you could regret being a bad dad. So what we want to do is be a good dad. Start putting those boundaries in now. Start learning who you are. Start growing and becoming more secure in who you are. Then you can be a better dad to your kids. And you can help them develop boundaries in their life. Hey, if you need more help with this, go to thrivingman.com. We actually have a course there. It's called Dad's Secrets to Success. And that gives you a whole lot of ideas and things you can do to be a great dad to your kids. So if you want to be a great dad, check that course out, thrivingman.com.
Thanks for listening to the Thriving Man Podcast. If you want to check out more resources from David and Reese, you can go to thrivingman.com. We'll see you in the next episode.